All right, it's trying to get this straight here. It's May 3rd, 2012, and it's Reality Supreme Being, also known as HRM Caesar St. Augustine de Buonaparte. I got so many things to talk about. They've taken my bus. The last straw was these things. I know that you've heard me ranting and raving in the past. Um, Anything anybody tells you about this country, it depends on your lifestyle. If you're a patriot, you wave the flag and you care because you already have the things that I should have had, that I worked for 30 years, only for them to be taken by Howard Summers Towing, which is on Deering Avenue in Canoga Park, 884-5800, area code 818. Parking enforcement, LAPD, the fire department, nosy neighbors making false reports in more than one, two, three, I don't know, dozens of different neighborhoods. All false reports because they didn't like my unsightly stuff. Even though my unsightly stuff was hidden, they still called on me. So we have here a situation where you people think, you really believe that you can ignore people like me and ignore the damages I've gone through and think that you're not going to pay for it. I'm not going to explain to you how it really works. There are people walking this planet right now, including me, who do know how it works. Truly, the whole universe. And the reason they know is because people who judge them and make false reports and do these damages, even where law enforcement says the law's on their side and the law says they can do it, even though they know moralistically and financially it's the wrong thing to do and that there are alternatives that they could have sought. Like I said in my past videos, if you don't want certain people in all Los Angeles or in any big city, put a sign out at the city limits saying you're now in Los Angeles, no homeless people, no people living in motorhomes, no people have parking overtime, no people blah 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 blah. But the reason they don't do that is because they want you to come in. They want you to have an altercation with many of the different agencies in the cities and counties. They want you to because they make money off of you. They rip you off. They take your things. They make you even more homeless. In some cases, they make people commit suicide, which is what they've done to me. They murder people slowly by taking their cars, their trucks, their boats, their motorhomes. The neighbors call. They make false reports like they did on me. As you know, I'm a presidential candidate, but every 4 years, there's more than 300 people that list their names frugally, and I do mean that frugally, with the Federal Election Commission. I really don't want to be president. I want people to revolt, take their money out of the banks. You know, you've heard it on all my other videos. Howard Summers Towing had no right holding my stuff for more than a year because I was in limbo bankruptcy and then selling it this last Tuesday. As a matter of fact, they've still violated the law because there's a loophole in the law that if you don't finish your bankruptcy, it is not abandoned. It's 7 years before it's considered abandoned or over with. So they were in violation of this. Now I stuck a thing on their deal, on their post the other evening. I put one of my circulars that when I'm running for president that I give everybody. Now I usually shoot the bird at everybody because people that have damaged me have, you know, the right to have the bird shot at them and worse. But they also have contributed to this, addicted to war, and they've contributed to this. This is my flyer. It shows all of the children. See that kid? There's a look of horror on that kid's face. You cannot believe the pictures of these people. They're on here, and here's a soldier, a U.S. soldier, with this right here, right there, with his face blown off. There's no face on that body, that head. They actually show that in grisly color, living color. I had that put on my house on the front door in living color on an 8.5 by 4 by 17, actually 11 by 17 poster on my front door. So the people that would come to my house would see that. And they would ask, why do you do that? Why do you remind us? Because I want you to see what the U.S. soldiers see every day. Because you people need to be there in order to understand how evil this country is. Now, I told the president and all the other candidates, this is a Mother's Day thing. You have until Mother's Day for the 4th time the challenge to debate me. Now, I'm a dying man. I think that I deserve a last request like that. Because if I don't die, I will take slow poison or pills and a bunch of alcohol and just die. Because I don't have any reason to live now that they've taken my only home. The only home I've ever had was that bus. And they've taken all the other buses, the cars, the trucks. They took 24 cars, a sailboat. They took all kinds of semis from me. They followed me around the city on private and public property everywhere. This city has hired people that are control freak fanatics that destroy people's lives like mine. And they get away with it. Now, I was reading a book the other day. I said that bad things are going to happen, and they have happened. I have predicted them cryptically. I cryptically predicted a lot of the last 3 challenges I gave. Bad things happened in between those challenges. Especially when the Secret Service got caught with a prostitute, because they're the ones who started this. If they had helped me in 2009 when I asked them for help, when I was a presidential candidate in 2008, we wouldn't be having these, you wouldn't be seeing these 170 videos. I read this book about the psychic children of the world. They talk about love and all this kind of stuff, these children that were brought up in Bulgaria. And the name of the author is James Timon. He's a musician. And he was supposedly struck by Marco, touched by Marco, and he got the gift of power to bend spoons and to do all kinds of weird stuff. In all my other videos, I have given you the real truth about psychic abilities and where they truly are coming from. And they're not coming from the devil, and they're not coming from God. I can guarantee you this, that you are playing with the worst kind of fire you can ever imagine. Edgar Cayce once said, he made some predictions too. He said that long before New York City is destroyed, and it will be destroyed, Los Angeles and San Francisco will go first. So if I were you, this has nothing to do with 2012. This has to do with bad karma and payback by the living planet Earth. That it will thin out the population in a way that people are not prepared. You can't be prepared. No matter how much you prepare for an earthquake or tornadoes or hurricanes, you can't be prepared for what's coming. And it's not like the movie 2012, and it's not like any of this other stuff. In this book, he did this in 2002, and these kids that he interviewed, I mentioned them by initials of their first names. I call them ATIUM, which stands for Anna, who should now be about 23 years old. Ivan, Thomas, who should be about 21 years old. And Ivan should be about 18 years old. Sonia, who displayed a lot of psychic ability, should be about 18. And finally, Tenson, who was a fake at first, but was supposedly considered herself one of the ancient masters reincarnated. I like a word on that. There is no such thing as reincarnation. Marco, by the way, died. I can't impress upon all of you enough about what's going to happen. Now, I've had some contact with other people who've had some psychic altercations. One where someone and her mother saw bright lightning globes, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. There are people who are like Moses, Jesus Christ, Muhammad, ascended masters, avatars, walking the earth right now. And they're walking the earth in disguise, and they're not going to reveal themselves, ever. Because the planet, or because of all my other videos, I've explained why they're not going to reveal themselves, including myself. I could be one of them. I mean, how else do you explain all the bad luck, all the evil being thrust at me? When good, truly a good person appears, trust me, the world has a rap sheet of 7,750 years of wars, bits and pieces all over the planet, and only less than 300 years of peace and bits and pieces all over the planet. That is the worst rap sheet that you could ever imagine. Now, I want to get you back into perspective, because a lot of you have not seen all of my videos, and you're lazy, and you're not going to sit down and take notes and watch all the videos, which is really sad, because in between all those statements, even the ranting and raving, I'm giving you information that you can use to safeguard your life when these bad events take place. So in order to tell you, to get you to understand the realization of how important this is, I have to get you to comprehend how big the planet Earth is from the planet Pluto, 6 billion miles away. This is how big. Now, I did this before in another video. Ignore the circle. That if you can see the circle here, which is smaller than a dime, ignore the circle, because the circle is not the planet Earth. See that dot, that grain of sand in the middle? That is the planet Earth from Pluto. Pretty insignificant, aren't we, at 6 billion miles? Yet our DNA, 100 trillion cells stretched out, will stretch out past that planet, Pluto, another 49 billion, 800 million miles further. That's each 3 to 4 foot long strand of microscopic DNA glued end to end. All one human being would go past that planet another 49 billion, 800 million miles. Check the math out if you don't believe me. I'm not some nutcase. I've got all my figures worked out. You're the nutcases, because you haven't listened to me. You haven't passed the word. You haven't taken your money out of the bank. You haven't called Howard Summers Towing, the White House, condemned all of them, told them they're full of crap. Every last one of you have to pick up that phone and send them, and continually send them all the crap. Just flood them with phone calls. Tell them what big mistakes they've made by robbing me of 24 cars, sailboats, my truck, and my only home. My only pride and possession, my only home left to me, with everything from my childhood, things that I cannot replace. I think somebody at Howard Summers, some ball SOB, told me the day I went in there, I said, you're not supposed to sell those. He says, you had more than enough time, you had more than a year to get your stuff. I can't take, you don't understand. I live in fear of putting my stuff anywhere, because the city has followed me everywhere. I'm surprised they haven't followed me to the storage where I'm at. So I'm trying to impress upon you that you have murdered me, all of you, just like you've murdered all these children that I showed you in these pictures. Just like you've murdered all of them over and over again, years and years. There's a guy holding his little girl who's dead. And way up here in the corner, there's a guy with 3 of his kids in a coffin. 3 of his kids are in that coffin. Anyway, what does it matter? You don't care. The last 3 that I recorded, I've had like 2 views, 7 views. You don't care. You don't care to pass it on to friends like a chain letter. You don't care to revolt. I mean, isn't that revolting enough? Isn't it revolting that it isn't that you've done it in Afghanistan, Iraq, and all these other places? It's happened throughout your whole history. So what am I supposed to do? Just go ahead and die? Well, that's what I'm going to do. Because you people don't care. All you care about is your money, your own situation, and you don't care what happens to others. City of Los Angeles has violated my rights repeatedly for years. So when you let them get away with it, it's like unbelievable. It's depressing. You can't understand how much situational depression I wake up in every morning, now knowing that my small white trailer, my bus, and the last blue pickup truck I had full of more of my possessions is now all gone. Somebody's probably ripping through the boxes, going through everything, you know, taking my valuable possessions. I have a sword from Rome, and I have a Genghis Khan sword in there, and I have all kinds of collectibles inside, all hidden in the so-called trash. My special tools are all in there, and my bus is a total mess because of what these people forced me to move from place to place. 10 years worth of moving. 10 years it took the city of Los Angeles to take everything I worked for the last 30 years. And you call yourself human beings? And if I am disabled, you people made me even more disabled. But you won't have to pay for me for long, because I'll be dead soon. I guarantee it. There's no reason for me to live any longer. You people have murdered me. I hate all of you. And I hope a huge asteroid comes. By the way, I brought something just to sign off the air. The word America in Revelations is 7 letters. The same 7 letters of a country called Babylon in Revelations that is destroyed in one day. In one day it is destroyed. So, America will be destroyed. And it is an anagram. Babylon, write Babylon underneath America, and you will see the anagram. And it is an ancient language. When you put the letters together properly, it's an ancient language. And what it reads, you will not believe. America will die in one day. All of it will be disseminated, gone, beneath the waves of the ocean in one day. Just like Atlantis.